Okay, good morning everyone. Shalom Aleichem. We're continuing in Seif Shoneh Halachos. We're learning Halachos Tzitzis. Is Siman Ches. We're up to Sivkat and Lamed Ches, approximately. We're talking about somebody who's putting on numerous garments. Now, even though that doesn't sound to be too commonplace, it's not really that common that people put on multiple garments, but the principles of the halacha are applicable to other areas of halacha as well. So we mentioned that if you didn't have in mind explicitly from the beginning only to wear one of them, and you don't typically wear more than one, then you'll have to make another bracha on each one. Since Sivkat and Lamed Ches says, if you make a big interruption between each garment, you have to make a bracha on each pair of tzitzis. Even if, let's say, when you put on garment one, you had in mind to put on more garments, but if in the interim you interrupted greatly, you'll have to make another bracha on it. But just silent delay, this would not be a hefsek b'diavad. In other words, if you were just silent, even for a while, this would not be a hefsek b'diavad. Imsach b'neim, let's say you talked. So it depends what kind of conversation you had. It depends what you said. If it was l'tzarech lavisha, if your conversation was for the sake of wearing the other garment, let's say you said, give me the next garment to wear. Ein ze hefsek. That's not an interruption. But if you spoke not for the needs of wearing it, afilu teva achas, even one word, nechlaku hapoiskim. One word is a machloikes hapoiskim, whether that is considered a hefsek. Therefore, you should be careful not to talk. If you did speak, ein chayzer mevarich. In other words, in general, we know you're not allowed to talk at certain intervals. Let's say one word. Let's say one word. So machloikes hapoiskim, whether one word is considered a hefsek, which is very interesting. Let's say you're in the middle of Psukei de Zimra, yeah? Let's say you're up to Ashrei, and somebody walks into the shul, and you want to say, hi, bye, go, eat. Are you allowed to say one word at a time? You're not allowed to be mafsek. So you're not allowed to, but it's a machloikis whether that's considered b'diavad a hefsek, which is important to know that at a time that you're not allowed to talk, even one word is a problem. Okay, so one word is going to be a question. Sivkatan mem. Haloivish talis. Let's say you put on a talis. Umatza oisai pasal. And you found that the talis was pasal. Oishanifsulu tzitziyosav. Or the garment isn't pasal, but the strings are pasal. Now, if I may, it's important that every morning you check your talis. You want to make sure your talis is kosher. So, first of all, the most important place to check your talis is here. Okay, you see where it's tied to the garment, in this area, where there's a loop between the tzitzis and the beged. Because if even one string is snapped over there, the whole thing is pasal. And it is very possible you could be wearing a talis for 50 years, and it snapped the second day you got it, and you never wore a talis in your life. Could be you're a good Jew in general. I'm saying it could be you eat sholent on Shabbos. But in terms of wearing tzitzis, you need to make sure that your tzitzis are kosher. So that's an important place you need to check. You also want to make sure that the strings are intact. You want to make sure you got all the strings. Now, if one string is going to be snapped, it's not going to be a problem, halacha. But if it's snapped on top, it is going to be a problem. So, okay. Here's another thing you want to watch out for. You want to make sure that because the tzitzis puts a lot of stress on the garment, sometimes the hole could rip. And if the hole rips and the loop starts getting too close to the edge of the garment, it's going to be pasul. So again, you want to make sure none of the strings are ripped here. You want to make sure the garment is not fraying, not on the hole, the nekev, and not on the extremity of the garment. Okay, so most people buy shirts every couple of years because they fray, but for some reason people like to have talisim since the last yovel. You know, your mitzvahs should be upgraded, commensurate with everything else in your life. Okay. So let's say you made a bracha on a talis and you found that the talis was pasul, or the strings became pasul. So now what? You made a bracha, but your tzitzis is pasul. So you got to go quickly get another pair. So does the bracha you made work for that pair? If you didn't explicitly have in mind when you made the bracha that the bracha will go on any garment that you will be putting on, then then you have to go make another bracha again. In other words, if you're like Rav Scheinberg and you wear 100 garments, so it's not a problem that the first garment became pasul because you had in mind anyway you're going to wear garment 2, 3, 4. But if you're like a regular guy, which most of us, we never even in our life put on more than one garment, you would have to go back and make another bracha. If it was in your mind, you don't have to go back and make another bracha. Birich al talis katan al mitzvahs. Let's say you made a bracha on the talis katan al mitzvahs tzitzis. V'lokach miyad ha-talis gadol, and you immediately then said, hey, you know what? I'm going to put on my talis gadol now. Afilu b'cheder sheni, even in a second room. Im hayadaita b'feirosh liftar ba'al mitzvahs. If when you said al mitzvahs tzitzis on the talis katan, you had in mind explicitly it should go on the talis gadol, even though it's in another room. Ein tzarich levarich al talis gadol. You don't have to make another bracha. Aval b'stama chayzer mevarich. You do go back and make another bracha. Afilu hayu lefanav. Even if the talis gadol was in front of you. But since on the talis katan you made al mitzvahs, and you didn't explicitly think that the al mitzvahs on the talis katan should go on the talis gadol, you would make another bracha on the talis gadol. Ve'im mevarich al talis katan lehisateif. Let's say on the talis katan you decided to make a lehisateif. Can you make lehisateif on a talis katan? You could. You could. In fact, Mechaber even brings to do an atifa when you put on talis katan. We don't do that. But it's not, I don't know, does Sfardim make an atifa on talis katan? No. But it's not unheard of. There is a concept of it, and therefore lesateif is not inappropriate. If you make al mitzvahs on a talis katan, then it will not go on the talis gadol unless you explicitly have in mind it should go on the talis gadol. But if you make lesateif on the talis katan, then it could go on the talis gadol even though you didn't explicitly have that in mind. If the talis gadol was in front of you, you don't have to make a bracha on it. Kivan deragel lilbash b'chol yom, since you wear the talis gadol every day, have kedata lepaitrai. It's like you had in mind to pater it. V'imloi haya lefana b'shas bracha. If it was not in front of you, tzarich lechavein b'feirosh lepaitrai. Then when you make a lehisateif on the talis katan, you would have to have in mind explicitly it should cover talis gadol. V'imsach beineim. And if you spoke nizbar b'din lametes, we already explained that. We already mentioned many times the minhag is not to make a bracha on the talis katan.
Why wouldn't we just have in mind for the gadol later on? If the gadol is coming on first, now we have in mind when we put the gadol, the talis for our gadol.
Why don't we do the other way around? So one of the reasons is because the reality is very often people's talis katan are pasul. Because people they got a Batman pair of tzitzis when they were 3 years old, or Spider-Man, and they're still wearing it. They're 50 years old. They have a long beard. They're a big Rosh Yeshiva. You don't want to see the superhero that's on their tzitzis. Okay, so or they're wearing these little undershirt tzitzis. They never grew out of it.
If we were Uncle Moshe.
Uncle Moshe or Uncle Moshe tzitzis. See, in Achsher Dara, in our generation, they're much holier. They don't wear chas v'shalom superheroes. They have Uncle Moshe. Either way, it might not be big enough. Now, even if you don't have superheroes on your tzitzis, sometimes people's tzitzis they're not big enough. You know, people get big shirts, big suits, and their tallis goes up to here. They're pasal. So you have to make sure your tallis katan is big enough. Minimum 18 inches. The thing is, no adult fits into 18 inches. Why don't you just get 24 inches? Even that's not going to be big enough for you. Get 26 inches. Then you'll fit in it. But the bottom line is we don't make a bracha on tallis. So here's another thing. People, they put their tallis katan in the washing machine or it rips. So for that's one reason we don't make a bracha on a tallis katan. And the other reason is we pater with the tallis gadol. Tallis gadol is usually in better shape. Siv katan mem beis. Vim hoylech beineim mi beisai lebeis haknesses. Let's say you walked between putting on the tallis katan and putting on the tallis gadol. You took a walk to the Beis HaKnesses. Or you left your house and you came back immediately. Some say, okay, let me give you an introduction. This is halacha that many are not familiar with. You're eating eggs, yellow eggs, and you made a shahaka on the eggs. And then you want to go outside. You heard a big noise outside. So you go outside, you walked outside, and then you come back into your house. You have to make another shahakal. You know about this? It's called Shinui Makayim. If you're Machon Maggid, when you're eating, you have to make another bracha. For shahakal, you have to make a bracha. You're eating mezainos, come back in, you have to make another bracha. When hamoitzi though, you don't make another bracha. Because since you're tied to your place to bench, the Shinui Makam is not going to interrupt the first bracha. Okay? There's a concept of Shinui Makam. Does that apply by tzitzis? Or do we say by tzitzis, the bracha will cover wherever you are? So it's a question whether Shinui Makam will be a problem.
For the shahakal, even if you have in mind to come back in?
Even if you have in mind to come back in, you have to make another bracha.
You go outside to get your mail.
Correct. If you're going to the front porch and it's covered, so it's not really separate domain, then you wouldn't have to make a bracha. But if you go outside to get your meal, you'd have to make a bracha, which would mean you're not allowed to go outside to get your meal because you're causing yourself to make a bracha she'ena tzricha. Okay? Now, what if you're drinking coffee in the morning and you make a shahakal and then you take it in your car? Do you have to make another shahakal? When we get to Halachos Brachas, we'll have to get into that. Meaning, in other words, what if it's a type of food that is meant to eat on the go? So I'll just tell you one halach off the bat. Let's say chewing gum. Now, I don't know why people chew gum. It's good for dentists. Gum is very good for dentists. I don't know if it's good for your teeth. Is it good for your teeth? Is it harmful for your teeth?
Sugar-free.
Sugar-free? Is it okay for your teeth? Machon Maggid Harakiah has not issued an official statement on. But, do you have to make another bracha on the gum when you go into your car? No. Rabbi Moshe has a chiddush that since it's always in your mouth, there's no shinui makam.
Should one make a bar nefashos and then say another bracha?
You can make a bar nefashos on gum.
No. If let's say someone drinks in their house, walks out.
Question.
Takes the coffee from the...
Let's say you drink coffee. Do you make a bar nefashos when you drink coffee? The problem is that in order to make a bar nefashos, you have to drink a revius. And it has to be in at least not more than 2 gulps. Not more than 1 gulp in between. And coffee is hot, so you sip it. So really, it's a suffix whether you make a bar nefashos on coffee. The halach is you do not make a bar nefashos on a hot drink. What many Yirei Shemayim do is they leave it over the last revius, and by then it's cooled off, and then they down it. And then this way, they know for sure they can make a bar nefashos. Or you drink coffee as part of a meal and you have other foods. But just a straight up coffee or tea and you're sipping it, it's a now what? Why would you be able to make a bar nefashos? Because since that's the way the food is made to drink, it's a hot food, so there's no other way to eat it, so that's the derech of drinking it, it becomes a suffix. Bottom line is, if you sip a hot drink, you do not make a bar nefashos. Or what you could do is afterwards, just have some revius of water, and then you for sure can make a bar nefashos, or leave over the last revius, or you don't make a bracha, it's suffix brachas lahaka.
It's just water. Drinks water in his house, he walks to his car, he brings the water bottle to his car, he drank a revius already. Now he's having to make another bracha, should he make a bar nefashos before?
You don't have to, no. No, you make it when you're done.
And just make another bracha.
Yes. Okay, so now that's by food. Is there shinoi makayim by talis? Meaning, do we say, I made a bracha on my talis katan in my house, I don't know if that's going to cover the shul, because the shul is a different place. It is appropriate to be machmer not to make another bracha. In other words, we will not, shinoi makayim is only by food, not by different pairs of talis. By different pairs of talisim, if you made a bracha on your talis katan, it will cover your talis gadol in kilas feres mordechai. Again, we mentioned we don't make a bracha on the talis katan. But if you were to make a bracha on the talis katan, and having in mind the talis gadol and shul, that shinoi makayim would not be a problem. In other words, that would be okay. The same thing by bedikas chametz. If you make, let's say you own multiple homes. It looks like you here own multiple homes. You have a house in 5 towns, and in Florida, and upstate, and in Israel. Let's say you have multiple homes. No, I'm joking. But maybe you do, I don't know. And you need to do bedikas chametz on all of them. Would that be a shinoi makayim? So here the Halachos is saying that unless the Beis HaKnesses or the other house was far away, or you're Mesiach Das, or you didn't have in mind, oy shalahi adaita Allah b'shas bracha. Smem Gimel. Hapoishe talisa. Let's say you took off your talis. You took off your talis. And now you want to put it back on. Do you make another bracha? Hapoishe talisim. If you had in mind to put it on immediately, and you did, afilu pashta li kanes lebeis haknesses. Even if you, what? Oh, lebeis hakisa, thank you. Even if you took off a talis to go into a bathroom, Loi have a hefsek. This is very important. If you take off your talis to go into a bathroom, you do not make a bracha when you come out. Ein tzarich lachzeh varich. Afilu loy nishal of talis katan, even if you were not wearing the talis katan when you went into the bathroom. The nachain, the correct thing is sheyichavein, you should have kavana, that b'shas bracha, when you make the bracha, she'im yafshetenu, that if you take it off, sheyachzor v'yilbashenu, that you should be able to wear it again. Now, so if somebody goes into a bathroom and take off their talis, they do not make a bracha when they come out on the talis. What about tefillin? If you take off your tefillin to go into the bathroom, do you make a bracha on the tefillin when you come out? It may depend what you do in the bathroom. Now, what's the reason why going into the bathroom is not a hefsek for talis? Because you're allowed to wear a talis in the bathroom. Technically, it's not such a big problem. Because a talis, do you wear your talis katan in the bathroom? Yeah. But it's a chefza shel mitzvah. So what? A talis gadol is a little bit more problematic. We take it off because it's meyuchad l'tfila. The same way, are you allowed to wear a kittel in a bathroom? No. 1 second. I could wear a talis katan, but I can't wear a kittel? Yeah, because a talis katan is a garment. A kittel is designated for prayer. So a talis gadol is usually designated for prayer. But still, it's not a hefsek to go into the bathroom. What about tefillin? When we get to Hilchos tefillin, we'll come to that. But I believe It depends what you do. For ketanim, you would not make another bracha. For gedolim, you would make another bracha. Okay. What if, when you took off your talis, you said, you know what, I'll be back in an hour, and then you put it on right away? You have to make another bracha, because you're Mesiach Das. Sivkat mem dalad. Mem hayadaita shloi lelav shamiyad. If you had in mind not to wear it immediately, rak achar zman, just in an hour. Vafilu chazer bayachar kach. Even if you went back afterwards, v'nesatif bay, and you wrapped yourself miyad. Vafilu nishar olav talis katan. Even if talis katan remained on you, tzarich lachzor bracha. You have to go back and make another bracha. What if you just took off your talis and you didn't think anything? V'im pashtay stama, if you took off the talis gadol stam, and I wasn't thinking I'm going to put it on right away, I'm not going to put it on right. Earlier we learned, if you had in mind to put it right back on, it's not a hefsek. But what if I wasn't thinking anything? So if I'm wearing a talis katan, and I immediately put back on the talis gadol, v'chazar v'lav shemiyad, oisha poshe b'toichat tefila, or if I took off my talis gadol in the middle of davening, that's also indicative that I'm going to be putting it on right away. Even if I wasn't wearing the talis katan. So you hear these two cases? If I took off my talis gadol without thinking anything explicitly, then if I was wearing my talis katan and I put on the talis gadol right back on, or even if I was not wearing the talis katan, but in the middle of davening, I took it off by ashrei and I put it back on by uvalat tzion, and I'm not wearing a talis katan, I don't have to go back. But if I was not wearing the talis katan, or let's say I took off my talis and I folded it up and put it in the talis bag, and then I put it right back on, that's indicative that I'm a siach das from the talis. I have to make another bracha.
So just for clarity, if he has in mind he's going to put it back up in 1 hour, and he puts it out in 1 hour, he does not make another bracha? He has in mind he's going to put on it in 1 hour?
No, you would make another bracha. It's too much time. Too much time. So well, the only thing is, no, I don't know. 1 hour? No, 1 hour will not be too much time. Because Yom Kippur, that's what we do. We take off the talis, and we could have even more than an hour break. You don't make another bracha afterwards. If I'm not mistaken, the Shulchan Aruch Harav says that even 2 hours would not be a long enough hefsek. Now, okay, one more, and then I want to share with you something on Chanukah. Let's say a sandak, v'lachin ha-sandak. He at the end of davening, he took off his talis, he put it in the bag, and then they said, Ya Moed, Nisim Yisrael ben David Sandikos. So you have to take out the talis. Do you make a bracha? In b'shasab shitay b'dayda love shoy. If when you took it off, you had in mind to put it on again, v'loy shah harbe ben time, and there was not a long delay. Afilu hamila v'bayis acher. Even if the bris milah was in a different house, ein tzarich levarich. You don't have to make another bracha. V'im loy haya dayda love shoy. But if you didn't have in mind to put it on again, oisha kiploi b'toch kisai, or you folded it up. In other words, if you go to bris, you weren't expecting to get a kibbud. For example, they called you up, they gave you the kibbud of being the mayal. You didn't expect to do that. So you put on a talis. So then you for sure have to make a bracha. Afilu hamila b'beis hakneses. If you folded up the talis in your bag, even if the mila is in the shul tzarich levarich, you'll have to make another bracha. Vim heisiroi stama. If you took it off stam, v'loi kiplain, you didn't fold it. So we learned, when you take it off stam, if you're wearing the talis katan, then you could put on the talis gadol again without a bracha. Im nishal of talis katan, lo yavarich. V'imlav, if you're not wearing a talis katan, yavarich. Mihu, but if it's a borrowed talis, not the shul's talis, a borrowed talis, you tell your friend, hey, give me a talis. You don't make a bracha on a talis she'ula, which is always a good eitzah. If you get an aliyah, it's always better to use someone else's talis. The worst thing to do is using the shul's talis. Because the shul's talis, it's not a good idea, because you might have to make a bracha on it. Because you daven in the shul, so you have a chelak in it. So maybe you have to make a bracha on it. In other words, if you get called up for a psicha and they throw you the shul's talis, what do you do now? Maybe you have to make a bracha on it. Maybe not. And the shul's talis, is the shul's talis kosher? By the way, the talisim people donate to the shul. Do they donate brand new, beautiful talisim? Or when they have a talis in their garage that they don't know how it got there, they say, oh, what should we do with this? Why pay money and kol shemas to get up when we could just donate it to the shul? Right? Most things that end up in a shul, how do they get there? Because people are trying to save money. Instead of paying money to throw it out, just put it in a shul. So the shul's talis is not, so when you get called up for something, we'll see. Maybe the best thing is either borrow your friend's talis so you don't make a bracha, or use your talis so you do make a bracha. The shul's talis is always going to be like, or you could have in mind maybe not, you don't want to be mekayim any mitzvahs when it, but then it becomes a question because maybe now you're wearing a four-corner garment. We're going to discuss that. So, one last thing that I'm not going to tell you the answer to is, well, what if in the middle of the day you take a shower and then you put on your talis katan again? Do you make another bracha? I understand that I don't make a bracha on the talis katan in the morning because the talis gadol covers it. But what about, I take a shower. So you say, who has enough time in their life that they're just taking showers in the middle of the day?
You take a Shabbos nap.
Friday. A Shabbos nap?
I'm saying on Shabbos if you take a nap and you take off your...
Oh, so where it's relevant is two cases. We hope you take a shower for Shabbos. If you don't, you could still come to the shul, I think. But you should, if you take a shower for Shabbos, do you make a bracha on your talis katan after shower? What about you take a nap Shabbos afternoon? Should I wear my tzitzis when I take a nap? Say, if you can, yeah. But I'm not comfortable in it. I don't sleep well. I get very itchy. Pal, that's because you're still wearing Spider-Man tzitzis and they don't fit you. If you're wearing a normal size tzitzis, you won't be so itchy. No, I'm itchy even though I have a good pair of 24-inch nice tzitzis. But I wear wool and it gets very hot. So you have two eitzahs. Ready? One eitzah is when you take a nap, if you don't want to, the best thing is to wear it. You don't want to wear it, keep it on your cover. If you keep it somewhere on your cover, that's called not being meseach das from it, and you won't have to make a bracha when you wake up. So what you could do is either you wear it, or put it somewhere on the bed, on your cover. Then it's like you're not meseach das from the tzitzis. What about when I take a shower on Friday? You want to know the halacha? It's a big question. Therefore, the best thing to do is when you make the bracha in the morning, you should have in mind that the bracha is not covering the tzitzis after your shower, and then you make a bracha. That's the best thing to do.
Why can't you just have in mind that it is covered?
So just have a simple thing. Why have in mind it's not covering? Because even though you have in mind it is covering, it might not cover because the shower is a hefsek. So the minhag is, you want to know what people do? Nobody knows this halacha, so they just don't make a bracha, right? If you ask around, you take a poll, you go to Main Street. I don't want to say the name of the street here because people are I don't want to indict the community we live in. We'll talk about Queens now, okay? You go to Main Street and you ask, we'll blame a different community, and you ask, what do you do after you take your shower Friday? They don't make a bracha when they come out. What's the best thing to do? Have in mind explicitly that your bracha will only cover until the shower, and then you'll make another bracha. Now, if you have your act together, that on Erev Shabbos, you could do this, you're doing good, right? Where you have enough time running to shul, Erev Shabbos, to be making a bracha on your talis katan, but that is the best thing to do, okay? We'll review that again next time.
If somebody has a Shabbos where you only wear the...
Oh.